You think you've got my number figured out? I'm not the soul of your design. I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Good to see everyone here. Sammy, welcome. Michael Hassler, Moanep, Manju Misty, Looney Tunes. I'm just me. Eager. Welcome. I just saw there was a press conference with some Patty Morin. And Pop didn't see what it was. All I caught was the end. Press lady was like, "Any questions?" Hands goes up. She looks around and is like, "Huh? No, nope." Wow, wow. Cheers. Beer in hand, windows are open. An extra long weekend has begun. Nice. Good to see everybody. Ladybug, welcome. I feel so welcome. Yes, of course. The content cop that dropped is basically my Avengers Endgame. Alright, folks, let's get started. It's already getting late. Folks, I voted today as well. Nice. No sticker for early voters, really? Well, that sucks. Folks, if you want to support the channel, keep doing what you're doing. Thank y'all for being here. There are many different ways of doing so. Keep spreading the word. We're here Monday through Thursday around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Bring a friend. If you want to support the channel directly, there are a couple of ways of doing so, besides the usual. Consider checking out the merch store and hitting !tip. Subscribe to the Substack. Join the Discord if you want to keep up with the channel. Thank y'all, appreciate it. Let's get started. Okay.
I guess there's a little bit of a feud in right-wing media right now. The Daily Wire is in deep financial trouble. Candace Owens left them and is having a lot more success on her own.
Brett Cooper's also rebounded very quickly when she started her own independent channel.
It's turns out that some of these like major
Maybe you don't need the Ben Shapiro sauce.
or other networks, I mean, frankly, even TYT. Like, what is being offered by
Kirkenstein's Monster, welcome.
being employed by these media online kind of conglomerates that they'll maybe take a cut of your YouTube revenue to optimize how your videos are going to come up, as was the case in the past with the Majority Report. But we're kind of past the point where that's really even necessary. And it's not entirely clear that that's effective in the way that it once was, or needed in the way that it once was. There's a big rise in independent media across the board. Like, we're seeing it in sports media too. John Boy or Barstool Sports. They're
Jeez.
outliving their usefulness. You can just be an independent creator and not have these middleman companies take out so much of the value in the middle and hoard it at the top. And
own the IP at the end.
own the IP. That's the other.
Yeah, and like Barstool Sports is that really annoying guy, the Trumper, right? Dave Portnoy.
Part is that Brett Cooper couldn't hold on to her YouTube channel after she left the Daily Wire because they own it.
Zach Lowe went to the Ringer. He can't call his show the Zach Lowe Show anymore. It's now the Zach Lowe Podcast. All sorts of things. It's always things like that,
Wow.
which is just ridiculous. That capitalists can just own things like that.
Yeah. And so Candace Owens has left. She is a top 5 political podcast in the country, God help us. And she's differentiating herself from her former Daily Wire counterpart.
So let it be known that A Difficult Truth will never be owned by any other entity other than A Difficult Truth. Yeah, Dave Portnoy, that's what I'm thinking.
Parts by also criticizing Israel's genocide in Gaza from an anti-Semitic angle, oftentimes, which is deeply concerning. But that is part of where she's found her niche. Even the polling bears it out. Young Republicans are against tax dollars going to Israel's genocide in Gaza, not on humanitarian grounds like the left is, but they're against it, and in growing numbers. It's that Pew poll had it around 50% for Republicans 18 to 49 years old who have a negative view of Israel. So with all of that said,
but like also like asterisk, it matters like why, right? Like it matters why someone would not want to support the Israeli government, right? Because like there's a difference between, like Emma said, there's a difference between the left saying genocide is bad, stop doing a genocide, and the right saying like taking advantage of this and saying like and trying to conflate this with just like Jewish people because they're anti-Semitic.
I do think that the Daily Wire crew is struggling for relevance. Let's start with Megyn Kelly, who made this post about trad wives that really pissed off Matt Walsh.
Oh.
Here's what's happening on the right. Young women, I talk to young conservative women all the time about their lives and their goals and, the things that they want. And what's happening is they can't find.
And like, so why would you be on the right? Right? Like, if you know people like Matt Walsh exist, right? Like, I mean, like that's enough for me. Okay. That's enough for me. I don't want to be on that team, so to speak, right? Like, I don't want to be associated with somebody like Matt Walsh. I don't want to have, I don't want to be in the same ideological spectrum as someone like Matt Walsh. Especially when things like my bodily autonomy would be at stake. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Men who are maybe more conservative, usually they're looking for somebody who is religious. Like a lot of conservative women tend to be God-loving conservatives. And they can't find a lot of young men.
Charlie Martini, welcome. True, but the left pretty much sucks in reality too. I mean, I'd rather be on the left. Okay? Like, there may be individuals on the left that suck, but like the ideology as far as like more left-leaning policies and politics are like much better. So like, yeah, I'm gonna stay on the left. Okay? I prefer fighting for I prefer being on the team that fights for justice. Whether that be like social justice, racial justice, economic justice, ecologic justice. you'll find more friends on the left.
Who want to marry a working woman now. This is an actual problem that's coming up on the right. And to me, it's so sad because it's like, how did we get to the point where we're now telling young, conservative, amazing women that they're not attractive if they also work, if they choose to, let's say, do what I'm doing and what you're doing and like get their.
Come on, let's use those critical thinking skills, Megyn Kelly. Bipedal Meatbag, welcome. Unfortunately, our political system is 99% vibes and only 1% policy. True.
Their voice out there, but I'll stick with me just because I think conservatives listening to this will like the thought of another Megyn Kelly voice up and coming. Well, why wouldn't we want that? Why would we take somebody who's talented in this field and really wants to make a difference and have the messaging to her be, you're really not that valuable unless you give it up and.
Why, Megyn Kelly? Let's put on our thinking caps, right? Let's put on our thinking caps and take a second to consider why that would be.
Go into the home and only have a family and only raise a family. And not only are we sending her that message, but young men are actually believing that. They're actually believing it, especially on the right, because like
well, because people like you push that ideology. Where do you think that ideology ends, Megyn Kelly? Where do you think it ends? It ends with Matt Walsh, okay? That's the reality of it. You want to know the logical conclusion of the right wing? You want to know the logical conclusion of conservatism? It's Matt Walsh, okay? It's this beardo guy, okay? It's this beardo guy. But I mean, vibes are usually correct. I would say that like the ideas are usually pretty correct when it comes to on the left versus like on the right. But yeah, number one rule: don't be a dick. Number one rule: judge them by their fruits. But also like their ideas, right? Because like even if their ideas don't have fruit, like, it could still be very incredibly harmful, right? Yeah, but the leopards won't eat her face.
trad mom has gotten so popular. And it's like, no, if we do that, we're not going to have any strong conservative or right-leaning women to provide a role model for younger.
I kind of think that's the point, Megyn Kelly. I kind of think that's the point. Conservatives don't want strong women. They want subservient women because they don't see them as people. They see them as property. The right has trash ideas but knows how to push them through. The left has good ideas but is incompetent. Well, yeah, I mean, we have no, like, power, essentially. As far as American politics go anyways. We don't really have that much power. We've got some power at some levels, right? But it's not enough. Like, someone who I would consider more, like, on the left would be, like, AOC, right? But she's, like, one congressperson, right? Like, Bernie Sanders pushes a lot of left ideas, but he's, like, one senator. So, yeah, we don't really have that much effective power. Not just women, children, and brown people are considered property to them. True.
Conservative women who, and there's nothing to apologize for here, don't necessarily want to spend all their 20s and their 30s getting married and having kids, or can't. They just weren't able to meet somebody and definitely don't need to be shamed over it.
That
Yeah, and newsflash, like, conservative ideology is literally this, okay? They don't want you to be a career person. They don't want you to be independent. They want a subservient wife who doesn't question them. They want a subservient trad wife who's barefoot and pregnant and is in the kitchen, and her only job is to be subservient to the husband and keep the house clean and take care of the kids. That's it. That's literally conservative ideology. Conservative women are a peak example. If I want to eat a cake and have a cake.
Oh, did you do that? I thought somebody did that to the clip that I pulled.
The men in the audience are like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? Can you stop bringing your woman business into our political commentary? Because, like, you know, we like you again, Megan, now that you kind of came back to Trump land. You were, in 2016, you were...
Yeah, we like when you push, like, Nazi shit, okay? Like, just be the Nazi Barbie, okay? Stop talking about, like, all this, like, strong, independent woman feminism stuff, okay? We don't want to hear any about that.
Getting out of your wherever. You were besmirching the good name of Roger Ailes by talking about his systemic sexual harassment in the workplace, including towards yourself, and being a little bit too mouthy, you dumb bitch. So let's get back to the Trump love. That's what we're all here for. And what we also love about Donald Trump is the fact that he enables guys like Andrew Tate and brings them back into the country, that he appoints guys like Pete Hegseth, who has a police report against him, although not proven in a court of law, but that the woman says that she was drugged by him in the police report when she went to the nurse and talked about it, where she said that he blocked the door and took her phone and sexually assaulted her. And there have been other examples of these kinds of accusations being made towards countless people in the Trump orbit. They like that. In fact, it's ideologically consistent.
Yeah, 100%. Like, predators protect predators, right? I mean, like, case in point, like, we know Trump is a predator. Like, there's no doubts about that. And he's, like, bringing people in like Andrew Tate, who's being who was or is being investigated for trafficking and rape. I mean, predators protect predators.
With the people that are coming up on the right in the manosphere space, they fit in very neatly together because they are one and the same. Like, I love how she just sometimes peeks her head out from this, because she's smart enough to understand that her side is misogynistic, but, like, don't even bother, because this is they're gonna come at you, because if you're gonna be a Republican conservative influencer, Megan, just buy fully in. You're not going to be able to combat this tide because misogyny is inherent to their political project.
Yes. She said it much better than I did, but, like, that's basically the exact phrasing of what I wanted to say. Like, misogyny is inherent to their political project. Like, it's just like, it's ingrained. Trump intervened to get Andrew Tate free, but can't be bothered to bring back Abrego Garcia. Right, because reasons. Do you think most American lefties want the same thing for African and Indians too, enough to share in tax money? Well, I mean, like, left-leaning people would say that, yes, everyone deserves to have basic needs met. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are.
Especially right now. But those comments made Matt Walsh, theocrat, Christian theocrat on staff, I should say, at the Daily Wire, who doesn't like the idea of this woman pushing back against the idea that men should want women that are in the home.
A man is not looking for a business partner. He's not looking for someone to provide for him. He wants a wife. He wants a mother for his future children. He wants a helpmate. He wants a
Yeah, so like I mean, yeah. Yeah. This is like where conservative ideology ends right here. I think most lefties think that way you can have all your needs met. Yeah, no, lefties would say like everyone's needs can be met because there's enough. Helpmate? Yeah. Let's not think too much about that one. I don't want to get too deep into Matt Walsh's mind. Made help. Oh my god. Look, if you ever want like a reason as to why you should never want to end up like dealing with conservative ideology, like just take like a picture of Matt Walsh and that's it. That's you. That'll be you, okay? That is the end game of conservatism. Tina rating in with a party of 20. Welcome, everybody. Squirrels on Film, welcome. Welcome. Folks, I'll give it a second because of any pre-roll ads. So I'll give it a second. But folks, if you haven't seen me before, I am a difficult truth. I do the news, I do the politics. We're usually here Monday through Thursday, around 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you enjoy your stay, hit that follow button and join us. Also, if you haven't done so, please check out twitch.tv/Tina_2. And please go show her some love. Thank you so much for bringing your wonderful community over. I appreciate that. I prefer Iranian Ayatollah over Matt Walsh. I talked to some lefties last week who were horrified that I wanted minimum wage laws to be extended worldwide. I mean, like, then, not lefties. Wolfglen, welcome. Lefties always call me a tanky, so don't worry. I mean, everyone should have the ability, right? Like, everyone should have a baseline of like, essential needs met. Especially, in the richest country in the world. Like, it is embarrassing that we do not have guaranteed healthcare, that we do not have guaranteed college, that we have student debt, medical debt. We can't guarantee housing. But anyways, yeah, if you ever want a reason as to why to stay away from conservative ideology, like just look at Matt Walsh, okay? Look at Matt Walsh, and that is conservative ideology. This is where you end up, okay? Wearing flannel, and being a beardo, and pretending to be a working man, right? Pretending to be someone from the working class making a podcast about how women should stay in the kitchen. Okay. Hey, nothing wrong with flannel. You know what? That's true. That's true. Anyways, you'll end up like this guy, okay? You'll end up like this guy.
Woman, not a man. This is not a new phenomenon. Megan calls this desire of young men a problem that is coming up on the right. But it's not a problem.
I mean, don't cut back, but I think the helpmate line, we need to circle back to that one because I think that's kind of revealing.
It's revealing also that what do men
Fold my
want?
socks.
What do men want? Does it matter what the woman?
What do you mean? Like, what a woman having a career is like manly? I don't understand. Wow, Wally, thank you for the follow. I can't believe anyone actually slept with him.
Wants? I don't know.
Read the Bible.
Yeah.
And it's not coming up. Kim Iverson responded in agreement with Megan and said that she, quote, doesn't get this trad wife trend. But what she's calling a trend, or what Megan says is just coming up, is in fact the norm. It's the way human society has been organized since the dawn of civilization.
I don't think so. What? That's not, no. What are you talking about? Like, I guess in Matt Walsh's like weird alternate reality, like the only like civilizations, right? Like that I guess are valid are the ones where like the men are the ones ruling everything? Question mark. I just learned that many of Musk's kids were IVF. Makes sense. Yep. He is gross.
A young man seeking a woman who will have his children and prioritize raising them and keeping a home is doing the same thing that billions of other young men have done since time immemorial. This traditional approach is not some new fad invented by TikTok influencers, nor is it a far-right conspiracy. It is the way of human civilization. These young men...
No. Like, having a spouse or partner that is career-oriented and doesn't want to have children, I mean, like, that's fine. I don't. This is so weird. My ex-husband made me quit college and work, and seeing my male friends and even going to the grocery store without a red flag. That is like there's no amount of red thread that I can use to make that red flag. Yeesh. As we all know, nothing ever changes. We still use bloodletting all the time. Yeah, definitely worthy of being an ex. I heard a long conversation today about Elon fathering kids. I'm lucky I wasn't eating. Oof. I was stuck at home for 3 years. Jesus.
They want what their grandfathers wanted, and what their grandfathers' grandfathers wanted, and what their grandfathers' grandfathers' grandfathers wanted, and on through the ages. The trend, the fad, the new thing, Megan, is feminism.
And I'll just say, like, this is historically absolutely not true.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't, like, you don't have to be, like, a historian, an academic historian, to be like, that doesn't sound right. What is this guy talking about? It sounds like he's trying to push a weird cult, a cult-like ideology. He does. But, like, again, you don't have to be a historian, an academic, or anything like that to be like, you know, that doesn't sound right. Okay, we're gonna need a fact check on that one. Feminists just want equality, little baby boy. Yep. We still use muskets for hunting too. Yeah, super inefficient. Sheesh.
Like say the 1800s, the thing wasn't I just need to find the best helpmate to raise my kids. No, it's which one of these broads has the richest father.
What's the dowry situation?
Exactly.
Let's get
Yeah. I mean, even if he's historically right, who gives a shit? True. I mean, it's wrong either way. Like, even if that, yeah, you're right. Even if like historically, like that's how it was, and that's how like people ran society, like that doesn't make it right, anyways. Yeah. So, Jap, welcome. Nazi still exists, doesn't make it right. True.
down to brass tacks here.
Exactly right. And so, I mean, we can go back to it a little more.
You will notice that we're about a minute and 20 seconds in, and he has not mentioned what women want at all.
And here, for any young men watching, we're going to tell you which of these folks is right after this.
However you feel about career women who find their value and purpose in the working world, there's no question that they are the ones doing something new. Feminism sent women out of the home and into cubicles and boardrooms. Feminism can...
I'll just say, like, my great...
Also, and... 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 So USSR since 1920 is something new.
Grandmother was part of people who you look at like early organizing among like farmers and stuff like that. A lot of that is driven by women, and you know there's some sort of household chores issues that maybe men are out in the field, women are more like closer to the telephone, newly invented telephones and that sort of stuff. But the truth is that women's role in all this stuff has always been significant and then subsequently underplayed.
And also, but he's just describing capitalism. He's just describing, why do women have to work now? Do you think that, like...
Oh, right, yeah.
I mean, a lot of families would prefer to have a single income household.
Right.
You know, I think a lot of maybe women would maybe do part-time work or something like that in an ideal, or the man would do part-time work and the woman would work full-time, because childcare is so damn expensive that not having to pay for it is sometimes even more.
Now, it's also a good point. Remember the movie What Woman Wants, starring Mel Gibson, aged like milk? I forgot. Oh wow, you got a whole dissertation on feminism. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Nice to explain. All the waves and differences. I mean, yeah, they went from 1 to 4. My girlfriend of 15 years and I have lived apart from each other for several times due to job shit, college, or currently her getting sober. It makes me feel fulfilled when she's kicking ass. I love my girl boss. Nice. Bad Lefty, welcome. Lefty got enough to meet all the needs? This is a pretty good breakdown. I will repost the link again.
More financially sensible for a family than having dual incomes, although that's a rarity these days. It's just kind of necessary. So you have to rely on things like family, friends, neighbors, because we don't have universal childcare in this country. It's the problem of capitalism. Yeah. Also, because women's labor and labor in the home has never been prioritized by capitalism, even though that kind of labor of child rearing and of household care has been like it's the bedrock of our society. Without it, it's very difficult for us to kind of create families, which is what they say they care about. The problem is capitalism, because two incomes sometimes can't sustain a family.
Right. So, of course, you then start to realize, wait a minute. 1 second. And this has nothing to do with family values. Because if they actually cared, as Emma said, they would be alleviating that situation. Preach, Emma. Emma doesn't miss.
Alone one.
Convinced many women to desire professional success over and above family and children. And now feminists are angry that men were not reprogrammed along with them. Okay? Men don't want what feminism is selling.
What are you talking about? I don't know who is this we? We is a lot of people, okay? We is a lot of people, because I am a man and I do want what feminism is, quote, selling, which is equal rights and for women to be treated as people and not property. So yeah, I don't know who this we is. We is a lot of people, but don't put me in that block. Two incomes can't support a family, but have you considered $4 million in McDonald's stocks? He is a creeper. He is a creeper. Unironically, literally he is. Yeah, if I wanted to go to work full time instead of doing free labor at home, I'd like to make the same as a man at any time at the same position. Okay, thanks. I mean, yeah, asking for the world here, you know?
You may think they should want it. You may want them to want it.
Pause.
But they don't.
White supremacists don't want what anti-racism is selling. Although that's more about the extreme end of white people. But yeah, no, it's a liberation philosophy for women and the dominant gender.
Matt Walsh wants to return to a society where women feel compelled to retreat into the safety of a couple bond because the world is too hostile to them.
Because having financial independence is a threat to small little men like Matt Walsh, who
Right, because the whole point is control. Like, that's it. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else to that. It's control. They want a subservient, I guess automaton, right? Like a robot, a subservient robot that just does what they want, stays home, and that's it. Yeah, how dare women want things like equality?
are afraid that a woman will leave them, so they need their economic power to lord over them and use other forms of domination. Not saying Matt Walsh does this, but many of the men he's speaking to likely do, whether it be sexually assaulting their wife, which wasn't a crime a few decades ago, whether it be just controlling her, say, if she's pregnant with twins, 8 months pregnant, and you're still making your wife go grocery shopping for you, and you get caught on a Ring camera disparaging her, and you don't give her a car, you only have one car for some reason, even though you're a multimillionaire conservative influencer.
Yeah, they want to. I'll rephrase that. They want a free bangmaid. Okay, they want the whole. They want the whole thing for free. Okay. I only laugh to keep from crying. That's all we can do.
Influencer. Anyway.
They look out and they see that ever since the rise of feminism, divorce rates have skyrocketed, birth rates have plummeted, 60 million babies are dead, and most people...
Wait a minute. Wait, just 1 second. Hold on. Why would divorce rates be up? Is it because, like, women actually have that option to divorce? When did that happen? And why? And also, 60 million dead babies. Is he talking about abortions? We need those are rookie numbers. We need to pump those numbers up. They do want to get rid of no-fault divorce. Yep.
I mean, just to do a little bit of what is it? The correlation does not equal causation thing. We could just go back to making it way harder illegal.
Only 60 million? I don't know. I don't know where he's quoting that figure.
For people to get divorces and make them stay in marriages make particularly women stay in marriages with husbands they don't want to be in. Again, barbaric, and Matt Walsh is wrong to do that. And the type of men that listen to this and say, like, yeah, I wish. Guess what, bro? You're never going back to 1950. It's never fucking coming back. Trump can try to move heaven and earth. It's not happening. You need to learn how to adapt to a new situation. And actually, there's a Wall Street Journal piece.
Like, hey, man, like, just be like normal, right? Like just be freaking normal, and talk to women like they're people. I'm just spitballing here, right? Like I'm just spitballing here, but like maybe like just be normal. I don't know. Can't go back to the 1970s, though. That sounds woke. A little puddle of crud isn't a baby. Shit looks like a baby Yoshi. I love Yoshi, but it ain't a baby. According to conservatives, yes.
Get to after we finish. I mean, we're probably not going to finish this entire thing from Walsh, but just a little bit more.
Are, by every metric, much more miserable. And they don't want that. You cannot make them want it. And getting angry at them for not wanting it is, first of all, fruitless, second, arrogant, third, unfair, and fourth, foolish.
What?
Because these young men that Megan is referring to have an innate desire to be providers.
Innate. All right.
Okay, this is just like, man, this is, oh boy. This is gross, man. Had an innate desire to be providers. So like, but aren't women providers too? Question mark. I mean, like, what are you talking about? He doesn't want his doctor wife to have a job. Is his wife a doctor, or is that Ben Shapiro? Trying the Ben Shapiro method of rapid fire idiocy. That's true.
This is the other thing.
That's
The naturalization of hierarchy is the number one thing you need to be looking out for if you're analyzing Republican and conservative media. They naturalize inequality and they pretend like it was ordained by God that this is how things exist.
But like, why aren't women providers? Why can't women be providers? Oh, okay, yeah. Ben Shapiro's wife is definitely a doctor. They both have doctor wives, but I think Matt's wife has more of a professional interest in him because she's a gastroenterologist and he's a huge piece of shit. Okay, you know what? You get an applause for that one. All right. Because God made Eve as a helpmate for Adam.
Opposed to a series of choices that we make as a society and as a world.
Thank you for the YouTube
It's not
sub.
natural. There's nothing natural about it. Matt Walsh claims that there's only two genders, and that's all that's the only thing that's natural. Completely ignoring the science on this front, which shows that something from like 1% to 2% of the population is intersex and has intersex traits. That blows a hole in the binary theory. Many times, biological sex is binary. But in those instances, it's not. So it can't be binary. But like,
yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, these people don't look for logic. Okay, like the truth is a problem to them. So, yeah, the truth is a problem. That you can point this out till the cows come home, and you know you can be 100% correct. But like, these people don't care about the truth. Because it's ultimately not about that. They just want to spread their hate and bigotry. That's it. Like, so you know, truth doesn't matter.
why would it be necessary for him to describe those things as binary? Because it reinforces the hierarchy of men over women, of straight white male patriarchs over LGBTQ people, over women, over black people. You also see them naturalizing racial hierarchies. That is how this works.
Not especially interested in women who put their careers
I
first.
feel like a lot of us here had parents that both worked. Like, neither of my parents were home all day. Nothing wrong with that. But the majority of families can barely live on 2 incomes. Yep. Both of my parents work. Both of my parents still work. And they are above their 70s. Benji Hero heard WAPA and hasn't been the same. Wet ass P word.
First, they want to provide. The desire to provide is a noble desire. Even if many of these men will end up splitting the financial load with their wives in some way, still the desire to provide is noble and it should be encouraged, not shamed. It's not sad. There's nothing sad here Megan. These young men are experiencing a deep, ancient yearning, a yearning to leave.
Ancient.
And
Oh
can I
my
just say,
God.
why they aren't able to go out into the marketplace and provide is not because women said, hey, let's do credit cards and stop raping me. It's because capitalism cannot provide what Matt Walsh says it can. It does not, it cannot provide rising living standards for everyone else. You know what can? Central planning through a government. That's why China is kicking our ass and all this stuff. We can pretend like it's about regulation and not letting the people who pay Matt Walsh's salary, the billionaires, it's just like we're getting in their way. That's a lie, as they strangle what was great about this country and repackage it into fundamentalism that would make fucking Thomas Jefferson blush.
Yeah. And again, notice that all that matters, which backs up exactly what we're saying, all that matters in his analysis is how men feel about feminism, not about how women feel about feminism. Right?
Leave home and find a wife and become one flesh, as the scripture
That's what I want to do. Work in the back of a dispensary.
says, and then to have children and
Ew.
carry on their bloodline, and then to go back out into the world on a mission to provide for their family, thereby fulfilling their destiny as men. This desire is primal
wait, I'm sorry,
and
hold
timeless.
on.
It is not a primal.
Where did he get a hold of?
Ugh. Ugh.
My wedding vows that I'm writing right now. I mean, isn't this how normal people talk about one another? Hey, husband, I want to become one flesh and body with you.
Yeah.
Is that natural? As long as we're naturalizing things, is it natural to have that level of codependency with a partner? Because I don't know. Maybe in his world. But perhaps not in the sane part of this country.
Become one flesh, Dead Space
I mean,
moment.
this just reminds me of one of my.
I need to play that game, by the way. Ever since it came out a very long time ago. I actually never got around. Dead Space is an old game. When did Dead Space come out? ...2008. Wow. I got a modern remaster recently. I need to check that out. It's supposed to be a euphemism, but it just sounds worse. Becoming one flesh. Yeah, 2008. Wow.
Friends got married to a Mormon guy. And she's from a pretty conservative background, probably right, conservative voting.
All that sounds like it didn't happen that long ago. Whew.
They were scandalized by the vows about submission to the husband that were there. And this is what Matt Walsh thinks is what he's selling to people, because those type of people who do subscribe to this ancient way of thinking, they do like to show up for their folks.
Timeless desire for a colleague or a business partner. It is a desire for a wife, a woman he can provide for and fight for and conquer the world for. And in return, he wants...
Bro, what alternative reality? This man lives in some Christian crusade reality. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He lives in Warhammer 40k Empire. Yep.
a woman who will have his children and raise and love them and prioritize them above anything
Okay, all right. Whatever.
and show him
He's just saying, I mean, he's just filling time.
So there's this piece in the Wall Street Journal I believe the article is called, it's an essay, American Women Are Giving Up on Marriage. And I saw it quoted by this guy, Dave, The Evening Glow. And
I've seen far too much Walsh for a lifetime, seriously. He'd totally not be getting promotions to work for himself if he were single or anything like that. His whole segment is just filling time. Yep. Gotta make that magical whatever. Like, what's the amount on YouTube? You have to make like a video over a certain amount. I think it's over 10 minutes. I don't know.
A lot of young dudes are blowing it. This is just one section. For Alicia Jones, not having anyone else to financially depend on or split rent with is the worst part of being single. Especially with the threat of layoffs, it's just much more stressful being a single person. She said her last long-term relationship ended 2 years ago over conflicting views of the shared future. He wanted the white picket fence and me at home with the kids, Jones said. This despite the fact that her salary was nearly 50% higher than his. So that actually should be shamed. You fucked your life up, bro. You like, because this sort of thing that you're sold by people like Matt Walsh that you need, that is innate. Like,
that's not true, man.
Get a job, go work, but don't depend on it for your life's happiness.
Like, that's so messed up, man. That's so messed up. Like, I mean, anyone can shoot up ketamine and ramble for 10 minutes. True. Married 30 years is not about getting, it's about giving. Yep. I mean, like, Mrs. Truth is the breadwinner in this house compared to me. And never in my wildest dreams would I be like, that's a problem. She needs to quit her job. What? That is just insane. You'd be shooting yourself in the foot. Yeah, like an unnecessary own goal. Why? Why? Who cares? Who cares? But their fifis are more important than money. Right, but like simultaneously, they also care about money. It's so weird. Like, they care about financial stability and money and making money. But like, they'll like torpedo that because the woman is the breadwinner? Question mark? I'm the breadwinner and I never think like that. I just get mad at DoorDash. Well, you should be mad at DoorDash.
That you are going to make more than your wife and she's going to be cloistered at home folding laundry or some shit. That is retrograde. You ruined your life with an idea.
It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy of empowerment and of masculinity that our society can't give you right now, unless you're in the 1%. And unless you want the kind of unfulfilling relationship that Matt Walsh is selling to you, because you're not going to find spiritual happiness if you don't have an equal relationship with your partner where you're friends and confiding in one another and equal in your partnership. You might not always be equal. There may be some times where the other one takes on more and the other one takes on more in 6 months or something like that. But a relationship and a marriage based on subjugation and domination and not fully understanding that person, we saw what that had led to. I mean, the 1950s were not great for women.
No, they were
they're the way that, I mean, having to take like Quaaludes to get through the day, the level of alcoholism and
But when I ask AI what it looked like back then, all the pictures look so pretty.
I mean, we also would litter on the ground back in the day. None of those old AI photos show all the trash that used to be on the ground in the 1950s.
Just read a little bit more. Jones, who identifies as politically moderate, thinks couples with kids should split household and childcare responsibilities equally.
Wow, look at that. Congrats. $16, 14, and 13 years of marriage. Look at that. Unless someone pays for my gender surgeries, and I'm ready even for yesterday. Marriage tends to be the short end of the stick for the woman. No more marriages for May 12 was enough. I hear you probably not do it again. I mean, like, yeah, hey, listen. You should be okay with either choice. You should be okay with either choice. And you should be comfortable either way. 42 years. I love my husband. It's just a bad institution. Yeah, I mean, it's... Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Since people throw numbers, I am old.
She was surprised by just how few men she has encountered in DC share this view. Either they held traditional ideas about marriage or were extremely crunchy liberals who wanted to live in a van and drive cars.
Speaking of, I have chicken soup to prep. Nice. 7 years of suffering, no love, no help with gender stuff, no help with relocation to a place I could help at this point, wishing for nuclear war. Sheesh. Rough.
As a country. Yeah, so, you know, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I completely feel that if you had a bad experience with an unsupportive partner.
Well, Matt Walsh is saying to all the women in the country,
we need you to be mamala of the country.
Oh, you know, this is actually just reminds me, I have this ready here. It's interesting.
Nurturing.
This is a good little clip from Some More News here, kind of on the same theme.
Of his day with his kids, he's communicating.
From school, I do not work extras. I do phone calls. I try to work out. I try to get everything done between the window 7:45 a.m. and 3:30 p.m., which is when they get out from school. Very often, I'm the one who picks them up from school. I do not work from the time I pick them up from school to the time they go to bed, which right now is about 7:30. So that 4-hour period, I'm basically at their disposal.
I'd wager that during those 6 hours of his day with his kids, he's communicating, multitasking, nurturing, civilizing them. You know, gay women shit. Like, Ben Shapiro's wife is a doctor. He used to brag about her all the time. He's, of course, proud of his doctor wife. He was likely attracted to her partly because of her intelligence and abilities and tolerance of him as a person. I think it's safe to wager that he wouldn't actually agree with his wife being told at a young age, being a doctor is boy stuff. You can and should go be a mom instead.
Cody.
Yeah, I mean, like, fantastic. Partner ever had anyone that live in Poland? Those issues are social suicide if you can't afford surgeries. Oh, I'm sorry. I misinterpreted. I thought you meant, like, you had someone who was not supportive. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. It does sound really difficult. Sorry, Miss Kissiana. Oh, Megastar, welcome. Want to hear a difficult truth? You probably won't last that long, but okay.
Is brilliant. Love
Cody's
that show.
great. Cody's great.
Condoms. Does everybody know what a condom is?
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. I thought so. How did you think that was gonna end? Like, how did you think that was gonna actually play out there? How did you think like some Nazi shit was gonna play out for you? God bless the Automod. Yeah, at least they teed us up. I didn't even see his message. No, Automod stopped it because it's like some ridiculous like Nazi shit. I don't even know why they like even tried. What I miss? I'm smashing some chicken thighs. Nah, it's just like Automod stopping Nazi shit. That's it. I don't even know what they expected. How I don't even know why they or how they expected that to go down. Good bot, you get a cookie. Avery Will's profile pictures in a KKK hood. Yeah, makes sense. Want to debate? Nope. There's nothing to debate. Or are you too insecure? Nope. I just don't debate with like Nazis. There's nothing to debate here. Yeah, they just went to YouTube, but like newsflash, I can just block them on YouTube too. We can debate their life choices. Like imagine wanting to like debate like with a Nazi. Like what exactly would we be debating? Right? Cuz there's nothing to debate here. Like what would I be debating that hasn't been like debated already, right? Like Nazis are just wrong. Nazis are Nazis and they're garbage. End of story. Like what's there to debate here? What a sad existence indeed. I don't know. Just makes no sense. I watched a great video on that. I can't remember what it was. It was basically not about listening or reacting to the right shit. I mean, there is a channel, the alt-right playbook, right? The alt-right playbook, I think. Like that basically goes over that, and it's like, dude, there's nothing to debate here at this point. In the year of our Lord in 2025, there's really nothing to debate here. Does that make sense? Because like, what are we gonna fight about? The validity of the Holocaust? Nope. Nope. Might have been some more news. Oh yeah, that also is quite possible. That's also quite possible. Look, man, 2016, a difficult truth, would have been in the mud. But like now, it's not necessary. So was he a Hitlerite, a Klansman, an esoteric kind of Nazi? I don't know. Someone said that he had a KKK profile pic, and he wanted to he wanted to spew some like anti-Semitic shit about Jewish people. So like, yeah, I don't know. Nazi. He's just like a Nazi shit. He's just a Nazi. That's it. Yeah, just a classic, you know. Stuff that I've seen millions and millions of times. Like, it's not even new, right? Like, it's not even new. But whatever. Anyways. Kanye has fallen too far. The Trump administration says it's suing Maine over trans athletes in girls' sports. The Justice Department is suing Maine for allowing trans student athletes to play in girls' and women's sports, a policy that the administration says disregards Trump's executive order aiming to ban that access. It's the latest development in an ongoing fight over the issue between state leaders and the administration following Trump's February order, which calls on the federal government to rescind all funds from educational programs that deprive women and girls of fair athletic opportunities. Except, how is that like depriving them of fair athletic opportunities? That's my question. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced a lawsuit on... You know, they have time for this crap. You know, they have time for this crap because, like, they want to pick on trans people. But, like, they all of a sudden are powerless. Right? All of a sudden, they're powerless to bring back a person that they stuck in a concentration camp. Get rid of professional sports, divert the money to build social housing and problem solve. I mean, you don't even have to honestly get rid of professional sports. Like, in the grand scheme of things. Like, how much money, like in the grand scheme of things, how much money is the federal government spending on professional sports or like just athletic programs in general? Like, versus like how much money is the government spending on like the military, right? Like, you want social housing? Tax the crap out of the billionaires. Get rid of billionaires. You have to want to get them back. True. In the latest development in an ongoing fight over the issue between state leaders and the administration following Trump's February order, which calls on the federal government to rescind all funds from educational programs that deprive women and girls of fair athletic opportunities, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the lawsuit on Wednesday today and said that the state's action violated Title IX of the 1972 law that prohibits sex-based discrimination at schools that receive federal funding. Like, this is how you know, like, This is like some 1984 stuff, right? Like, but they are they're by definition being discriminatory against trans people. So the Justice Department alleges discriminating against women by failing to protect women in women's sports. By prioritizing gender identity over biological reality, Maine's policies deprive girl athletes of fair competition, deny them equal athletic opportunities, and expose them to heightened risk of physical injury and psychological harm. Yeah, whatever, dudes. They said they read 1984 and said, yeah, hold my beer. Count the money from all gambling bets and sponsors. Yeah, but that still won't be like that much money in comparison to like how much money gets slushed around in the military industrial complex, or how much money gets slushed around by billionaires that could be taxed. The suits, as an example, the suits highlight multiple examples where transgender students participated in girls' sports in Maine and outperformed their competitors. The lawsuit described an instance where an individual referred to student B was placed first in a girls' cross-country race and pointed out that same score would have been ranked 43rd in the boys' division. Okay. Okay. Because it's a girls' cross-country race? It is unclear how many trans students are currently participating in schools and athletics in Maine. Like, the reality is it's probably like literally like a handful. The Maine Principal Association, which governs the state athletics, says there's just two. I jumped the shark there. There's literally 2 students involved in girls' high school sports. The DOJ's suit refers to at least 3 trans athletes. So there's literally like 2. Okay. Maine's Democratic Governor Janet Mills responded to legal challenges by promising to vigorously defend the state against the DOJ's effort. Today is the latest expected salvo in an unprecedented campaign to pressure the state of Maine to ignore the Constitution and abandon the rule of law. This matter has never been about school sports or protection of women and girls. As has been claimed, it is about states' rights and defending the rule of law against the federal government, bent on imposing its will instead of upholding the law. Yeah, I mean, like, this is about hate and bigotry. It's that simple. Oh, it's Thought Slime's new video called Fascists Will Waste Your Time. Gotcha. I mean, like, there's been several content creators who have made similar videos in the past. The alt-right playbook is like the one that comes to mind. Maybe it's this one. Is it this one?
Life's better when you're under our roof. Save up to 23% by bundling your home and auto with us.
Do you really want to spend the rest of your life watching ads? Guys, just download Pi. It's a free Google Chrome extension and it basically blocks.
Say, for the sake of argument, you're the kind of progressive lefty with a platform who gets a share of harassment, seasonal or perennial, from reactionaries. In this situation, you will inevitably hear one who positions themselves as a reasonable moderate ask, "Why don't you respond to criticism?" There's a lot going on in that question, more than is immediately obvious, and it's worth understanding. First, is that the question is not only directed at you, it exists as a marker showing up in your Q&As, your comment sections, your Twitter threads, to imply to anyone paying attention to you that there is some wealth of legitimate criticism that you have long ignored. There may well be a specific point this person is referring to, but it's often left unspecified or generalized, so that the content and the quantity of the criticism is left to audience imagination. It is meant to publicly undermine your legitimacy. Second, it's meant to make you question whether there is some legitimate criticism out there in the din of people screaming at you. You're not perfect, and a knock-on effect of—
Nope, never mind. This is not the video that I was thinking about. Pam Bondi has spent more time on her back than Rip Van Winkle. She's ridden more times than the Coney Island Ferris wheel. Slut shaming is okay if it's Pam Bondi. Nah. I don't care about, like, Pam Bondi's extracurricular activities. I care that she's, like, destroying the country by enabling fascism. That's my problem. That's my problem with Pam Bondi. I'll look through the videos of Innuendo Studios, but I'm pretty sure they had something similar. But I'll also check out Thought Slime's video. Just days after Trump signed his executive order, the MPA announced that it would continue to follow state law over the federal order. The executive order and our main state Human Rights Act are in conflict, said the MPA Executive Director Mike Burnham, adding that the organization will continue to follow state law as it pertains to gender identity. Weeks later, Mills defended the decision during an exchange with Trump at the White House. I remember this. Since then, the administration has made multiple attempts to cut federal funding to Maine. The Department of Education said it's moving to halt state federal funding for K-12 education. The Department of Agriculture has also sought to freeze funds, but a federal judge has temporarily blocked that. There are plenty of things to criticize her without having to resort to talking about their sex life. Right, like, I don't care. Dude, she could have, banged, like, a billion people. Like, I don't care. It's not the issue. The issue would be her enabling fascism. I think that's the problem. And the more shit thrown on her, the better. Yeah, but, like, nobody cares about that, right? Like, nobody cares how many people. It's irrelevant. That's my point. Pam Bondi's Eva Braun? With an official, I don't know who that is, with an official position, Pete Hegseth uses her as a toilet. Pete Hegseth uses anybody as a toilet, to be honest. Eva Braun was Adolf. Oh, shoot, you're right. Shoot, you're right. Secretary Peter Principal. Holy crap. Yes, you're right. Senator heads to El Salvador. It's absolutely irrelevant and doesn't deserve to be perpetuated. Yep, I agree. I could literally care less. Did the senator make it back? No, we're actually getting reports that he's there, and he was not allowed to see he's not allowed to see Abrego Garcia. In case you can't tell, I'm not a particular fan of Oberfuhrer Pamela Bond. Oh, I'm not saying you need to be a fan. I'm just saying, I'm just saying that like that's the least of the problems. You know what I mean? I feel like unless she's sleeping with like Putin, her sex life is probably the least of her life that affects us. That is part of their life that at least affects us. Yeah, it'd be like the congressman that tried inspecting Jonestown. So we are getting reports, and this was actually brought to my attention by Ladybug. We are getting like more reports on this. So there's actually an update on this. Senator that heads to El Salvador to find Maryland migrant deported erroneously by Trump. So Senator Van Hollen is there in El Salvador to try to get answers about the wrongful deportation of Abrego Garcia. Van Hollen said he'd been planning this trip for the last few days, and he hopes to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia in person and see his condition. Abrego Garcia reportedly fled political prosecution from El Salvador, the gangs, and was deported last month by the Gestapo following an administrative error. Remains in the concentration camp despite orders requesting U.S. government to facilitate in bringing him back. So this is I was going to go over this, but like we might as well skip to the updated story. Yeah, an update to the update, right? It's wild to me that not seeing any self-proclaimed staunch patriots who live and die by the Constitution not out here screaming and making a ruckus in D.C. and their state capitals. Yeah, right? You would think, right? Like the people who are like all about that life would be, but you know. Van Hollen denied meetings in El Salvador with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a man mistakenly deported from the U.S. During the first day of his trip to El Salvador, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen was denied a meeting or phone call with Abrego Garcia, who was mistakenly deported to that country. Van Hollen was able to meet with the vice president of El Salvador. Abrego Garcia's case has sparked a series of court proceedings, which during a federal judge ordered the government to return him to the U.S. From the El Salvador concentration camp, CCOT. The Trump administration raised the case to the Supreme Court, which also ordered the administration to facilitate his return. Van Hollen traveled to El Salvador to check on his well-being and meet with Salvadoran government leaders after promising Abrego Garcia's family that he would try and aid in his release. Senator Van Hollen said he hoped to meet with President Bukele. Instead, he met with Vice President Felix Ulloa on Wednesday. During the meeting, Van Hollen said that Ulloa indicated that he would need a little more time to arrange an in-person prison meeting between Abrego Garcia and the senator. However, when the senator offered to return next week, he said Ulloa told him he could not promise a meeting that would happen at all. Oh no. That's not good. He was also denied a phone call with Abrego Garcia. Ulloa suggested that the request be handled by the embassy instead. We have an unjust situation, Van Hollen said during a live stream news conference. The administration is lying about Abrego Garcia. The American courts have looked at the facts. During his update, Senator Van Hollen emphasized that Abrego Garcia should not have been deported as he was granted a withholding of removal order from an immigration judge. Abrego Garcia was legally in the U.S. An immigration judge found that 4 years ago that it would put his life in danger if he was returned to El Salvador. Abrego Garcia was arrested by the Gestapo in March as he was leaving his job in Baltimore and returning home to Prince George's County. On March 15th, he was deported to El Salvador on a plane with more than 200 migrants that the Trump administration claimed had gang affiliations. The Gestapo later admitted that Abrego Garcia was deported because of an administrative error. However, they did not take action to return him. The administration said that Abrego Garcia is a member of MS-13, a claim his attorney and family deny. He also has no criminal history in any country. So, I mean, like, yeah, we can just skip that because this is nonsense. This is nonsense. Like, to even entertain that because there's no evidence of that. The government literally argued that they don't have any evidence of him being a gang. So there's no point in like even entertaining this. During his update in El Salvador, Senator Van Hollen questioned why Abrego Garcia is still being held at the concentration camp and asked if the government has any evidence of Abrego Garcia's gang ties. The government of El Salvador has no evidence that he is a part of MS-13, so why is he continued to be held in the concentration camp? According to Van Hollen, the president said the Trump administration is paying El Salvador to keep him there. They still refuse to give proof of life. That's terrifying. Very concerning to say the least. That poor family, plus the wider implications. Yeah, I mean, like, if this dude's dead, man, if this dude is dead, I mean, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I mean, I said earlier that it would be a miracle if he makes the out of this alive, but like, I mean, Jesus, he was only there for like a couple weeks, right? Like, am I right? Garcia's body's been transported to Scotland and tossed with cement shoes in the deepest part of the Loch Ness. I mean, like, that might as well be El Salvador, right? Like, it's just like a black hole. You don't know what's going on there. When asked again why El Salvador could not release Abrego Garcia, the vice president referred to a statement that the Salvadorian president Bukele gave while visiting the White House, saying the country cannot smuggle Abrego Garcia back into the U.S. I mean, like, this is very concerning. This is deeply concerning. Because, like, if all they need is proof of life, they could just get him on the phone, right? Like, this isn't like that difficult. I have an idea. Let's convince Trump that El Salvador is woke and he should invade it. Oh my God. How about release him and transport him? Yep. I mean, like, that's scary that they can't even get a phone call with him. They can't even get a phone call, man. That is deeply, deeply concerning. They have phone calls. Yeah, 100%. They have phones at CCOT and attorney rooms. Well, I mean, you would presumably, right? Like, I don't know. These people aren't even allowed to look at to speak with attorneys there. So I who knows? But like, to say that there's no way of getting him on the phone is ridiculous. I'm so many levels beyond deeply concerned about everything. I didn't even know if there was a next level. Like, I don't know. Like, if they can't even get a simple phone call, right? Like, just to say, like, yep, dude's alive. Even the guys that held Terry Anderson hostage for 6 years let him send out the occasional message. Why did no one ask why he had to be smuggled back in if we wanted him back? Because, like, they right? Like, I mean, the media hasn't done a very good job about pressing, like, for answers. But, like, they would just say, they would just say that he's a terrorist and legally they can't let him go. So the only way to get him back to the United States would be to smuggle him. And they can't do that. Like, that's the bullshit excuse that they're trying to say. And like a video with the newspaper or something, like even a phone call with the senator of the United States, right? Like, I don't know. Scary stuff. They'd rather kiss ass. Yep. All right, we got one more story. Jesus Christ. Now I'm not so sure. Now I'm not so sure. I think there's the percentage chance of Abrego Garcia being alive just went a little bit down for me. It just went down for me. That is very, very concerning. And if he is dead, now what? If he is dead, now what? Whew. Well, sadly, the most likely outcome is people will be pissed off for a month and forget. Let Garcia confirm he's alive. I don't care if they make him give a review of the Daredevil show. Yeah, but that's the problem. They're not even letting him get on the phone. They said it wasn't going to be possible. A meeting, an in-person meeting was not going to be possible. They couldn't schedule it. They're like, oh, I can come back next week. They're like, nope. What about a phone call? Nope. I have no idea. Trump won't prosecute. Yep. It's more. It is more than very concerning. But what can I? But what can you do? They won't be able to even forget this because it's going to be escalating. Yeah. I mean. Well, I guess I don't know. Because now we're not talking about. Now we're not talking about concentration camps, right? We're talking about like we're talking about death camps, right? We're talking about innocent people going to a concentration camp and not coming out. This is very, very unsettling shit. It's okay, dude. We don't expect you to have all the answers, just most of them. Well, thank goodness for that. We're not, yeah, this is deeply, deeply unsettling. I wonder how the judiciary branch can exercise power of the executive. I mean, like, they can send marshals, right, to like enforce court orders, but like, yeah. Is El Salvador like our Poland then? I don't know. In other words, in other news, my soup is turning out well. That's good. That's very good. Soup is good. Soup is very nice. Nadia, welcome. I knew this before Inauguration Day, hence why I fled the country before Inauguration Day. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Again, I can't fault or blame anyone for peacing out. That's forcing a coup, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, what would happen if, like, we've never been faced with this, so I don't know. Like, what would happen if, like, marshals, like court marshals showed up to try to enforce a court order and they're like, nah, bro, what are you gonna do about it? And then, like, that's it. Are they just gonna have like a gunfight right there? I don't know. I'm jealous of those who can leave. Yeah, I mean, if you can, and that's what you want to do, no one's going to blame you for it. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're a at-risk minority, like in particular, if you are an immigrant of Latino descent or look Latino, or if you're trans, or a combo, those are particularly at risk. So I don't blame you. Trump ignores judges' orders like a drug addict ignores grandma's orders. Well, here we are. And I hate them with a burning passion because at this point I would rather leave this world than live in it. Live in this effing body and place for fuck's sake. I don't blame you for venting. I don't blame you for venting. Look, we've all, like, this is all, like, very, 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 the situation is very effed. Ground level news, I can't even afford to get out of my fascist state, let alone the country. Most people can't. The thing is, I don't think people believe me when everything I say is staring at them in the face. When I say run before you have to cross the border on foot, everyone just blows it off. Yeah, I mean, like the Cassandra effect, right? Like, you tell people what's gonna happen because you can see the writing on the wall, and then, like, no one believes you. This is the Cassandra syndrome. Unfortunately, something we are all very, very familiar with. All right, folks, we got one more story, and then we're out of here. Hugs to chat if you want them. Seriously. Whew. That is not the update that I really wanted to read. But okay. This is real, folks. It's here. What do you say regarding a trans Latina anchor baby born to a mother who was an illegal immigrant at the time of their being born? Run. If you have the ability to get out or to go somewhere safe, then do so. Or work with your community to get safe. And if you are not in the United States, don't come. What community? The community around you. Sebastian Gorka declared his intention to ship Democratic Party congressmen and senators to CCOT in El Salvador today. Not surprised. Let me repeat, what community? What do you mean? Us. We're community. The left community. The trans community. We protect each other. It's so hard to meet like-minded people IRL. That's true. That's true. That is very true. Welcome, Winnie Rose. 7 years of this effing garbage. Ugh. No, it doesn't. Just go volunteer somewhere that fits your ideals. Andrew Sullivan's article on the lack of cohesion of the LGBT community was one good article he ever wrote, and every other thing he wrote was shite. Whew. At this point in time, it doesn't matter. We all protect each other. Okay? The volunteer organizations I want to sign up for have large problems that the Soviet Red Army no longer exists and the People's Liberation Army won't let me in because of age and medical conditions. This too shall pass. Stay strong, people. Magus hubris will ultimately be its undoing. Well, I don't doubt that. It's just like a matter of how long that's going to take, right? Like fascism by nature is always self-destructive. Like fascism by nature and by just design is self-destructing. It's just a matter of like how many people are going to get destroyed in the process. Fascism is not going to win. Fascism is not here for the long term. But therein is the problem. Eventually, it breaks. Eventually. I used to volunteer as an adult at a continuing education center. It wasn't a leftist cause, but education generally is progressive. True. There you go. I really want to see more FAFO videos. Welcome, Winnie Rose. All right, let's get this last story done. I think there's a channel that does it. I think there's a channel called Leopard Eating Faces News Network. If you want that kind of content, Leopard News Network, I think. I forget.
But some of you Latino Trump supporters just don't want to listen.
Legit question from MAGAs who live in Wisconsin, West Virginia, Montana.
There's a lady that does a channel of something to that effect. I can't find it, but if I do, I'll post it next time. I've seen a few, but they're reaching. I want to see big groups. Oh, I mean, you're gonna see like individuals finding out, but as a group, I don't know. The Egyptian Empire fell 3,600 later. Years later, the Roman Empire fell 2,500 years later. It can last a long time. And seeing that the Byzantines were taken to Russia, not Ottomans, so I've learned. I can tell you. The late Surfs Raider is here. Double welcome today, did I? Well, there you go. Bozy, welcome. All right, we gotta do this one story. Poggers. Trump administration likely acted in contempt of court by not turning around the deportation flights. A federal judge has found probable cause that the Trump administration acted in contempt of court when officials last month defied his order to turn around 2 planes carrying alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. The administration's willful disobedience of judicial order without consequence would make a solemn mockery of the Constitution itself, said Boasberg. Boasberg last month said, ordered that the government turn around 2 flights carrying more than 200 alleged Tren members to El Salvador, which, as we know, they weren't even Venezuelan, but Venezuelan or Tren members at all. After the Trump administration invoked the Alien Enemies Act, a wartime authority to deport non-citizens with little to no due process by arguing that the gang is a hybrid criminal state that is invading the United States. Authorities failed to turn the flight around, but have insisted that they complied with the law while questioning the legitimacy of Boasberg's order. According to the DOJ, Boasberg's oral instructions directed the flight to be returned to be defective, and his subsequent written order lacked the necessary explanation to be enforced. Boasberg faulted the Trump administration for conducting a hurried removal operation on March 15th and 16th in the hours after he issued an order blocking the deportation and ordering the men to be returned to the United States. As this opinion will detail, the court ultimately determined that the government's actions on that day demonstrated willful disregard for this order. Boasberg noted that the Trump administration he gave the Trump administration ample opportunity to rectify or explain its actions, yet none of their responses have been satisfactory. While the Supreme Court ultimately vacated his court order, Judge Boasberg concluded that the Trump administration still defied the order during the 3 weeks it was in effect, even if the order suffered from a legal defect. The Constitution does not tolerate willful disobedience of judicial order, especially by officials of a coordinated branch who have sworn an oath to uphold it. To permit such officials to freely annul the judgments of courts of the United States would not just destroy the rights acquired under those judgments, it would make a solemn mockery of the Constitution itself. Boasberg, Boasberg gave the Trump administration a 1-week deadline to file a declaration explaining the steps they have taken and will take to do so. The way to purge the potential finding of contempt, Boasberg said, would be to obey his initial order. The most obvious way for defendants to do here is by asserting custody of the individuals who were removed in violation of the court's class-wide TRO, so that they might avail themselves of their right to challenge the removability through a habeas proceeding. Boasberg wrote, referring to temporary restraining order he issued. Can we say we're cooked without being a reactionary doomer yet? Yeah, I mean, we're cooked. That's it. That's it. That's all, folks. Left is best. Per the term of the TRO, the government would not need to release any of these individuals, nor would need to transport them back to the homeland. The court will also give defendants an opportunity to propose other methods of coming into compliance, which the court will evaluate. If the Trump administration does not wish to purge Boasberg's contempt finding, the judge said he will proceed to identify the individuals responsible for the contumacious conduct by determining whose specific act or omission caused the noncompliance. Boasberg said he will begin by requiring declarations from the government, and if those prove to be unsatisfactory, he will proceed either to hearings or live witness testimony under oath or to depositions conducted by plaintiffs. Maybe the Supreme Court can put him in jail for contempt. I prefer to be moderately caramelized. Being cooked makes us taste better, so it's a good thing. As a final potential step, Boasberg raised the prospect that he could appoint an independent attorney to prosecute the government for its contempt. The next step would be for the court, pursuant to the federal rules of criminal procedure, to request the contempt to be prosecuted by an attorney for the government, Boasberg wrote. If the government declines or the interest of the justice requires, the court will appoint another attorney to prosecute the contempt. Jesus. Well, yeah, stuff's happening, folks. Stuff's happening. Boasberg is essentially saying that he believes there is credible evidence that they violated his order and therefore is going to move towards holding these people in contempt. So, yeah. We lose nutrients, but we are easily more digestible. True. So, yeah. That's where we're at, folks. I mean, yeah, we're cooked. The situation's not great. The situation's not great. I mean, what other way can I put it? We're screwed, folks. It's not a great it's not a good time. You know, as the ride of the roller coaster starts, okay, we're still climbing that initial drop. We're still climbing that initial drop before that initial drop. So buckle up, folks. Not to sound like a doomer, but we're screwed. I mean, it's just the truth. Technically, we cooked in cold lemon juice, and that's a good thing, too. You genuinely stay, fight, or flee. Yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Yeah. Understatement of the century. To quote Ed McMahon, yes, you are correct, sir. Yes. Ceviche? I'm not a fan. I'll be honest. All right, folks, let me get out of here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate. That makes him feel more authentical. Thank you all for being here in these difficult times. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you to the new follows. Thank you Tina for raiding and bringing your wonderful community here. Again, shout out to Tina. Thank you. And shout out to Lance from the Surfs and for the folks who came over from the YouTube side. I think there was one more person I needed to shout out. Zachap. I think I saw Zachap in the chat. Please go follow them as well. Thank you all for being here. You guys are what makes this channel go. Thank you. Until doomsday clock strikes midnight, keep living your best life. That's all we can do. Find your community. Yes, that's right. Find your community, chat. we keep us safe. That's all we can do. Thank you all for being here. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, folks. Sorry. The final show, of course. The soup for my family is ready. Okay. Bye, ADT. Thank you, Bozy. Appreciate it. Folks, go do the things, okay? Follow, like, subscribe, do all the awesome stuff. Subscribe to the Substack. Join the Discord, folks. And if you want to support the channel directly, check out the merch store. Hit !tip. Spread the word. We're here Monday through Thursday around 5 p.m. Bring a friend. Lend me your eyeballs, folks. It's one of the better ways of subscribing that doesn't cost a thing. Thank you. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See ya. Later. Yeah, stock up on food. Alright, folks. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.